know how incredibly hard it is to get this many movers and shakers, this many CEOs, this many leaders, entrepreneurs, media, business people. Well, I mean, just many good-looking people in one room. It's hard, you know. So thank you for making the time. You know, Steve touched on it. In 2011, there was virtually, I mean, just 2 years ago, virtually zero media coverage of Asian MMA in the mainstream media. Zero. 2 years ago. Probably the notable exception would be Mr. Jung and his high profile in Seoul, the leadership role that USDC was playing in the Philippines and the great coverage that they get out there. But literally, by mainstream media coverage, zero. Today, you are looking at media coverage of Asian MMA, of ONE FC, of this summit, from almost every major media. I'm talking about New York Times, New York Post, Chicago Tribune, Reuters, Tokyo Times, Straits Times, Manila Times, business magazines, and the list goes on and on. Don't even get me started on all the new bloggers and the websites. It seems like every time I open up my email, there's another new dozen websites that have opened up and say they're specializing in Asian MMA and they're covering it and they want exclusive access to everything that we're doing. It is exploding. And the coverage that we're getting right now is unbelievable. You know, here's the thing, is the world is watching us today. The world is watching you. Why are they watching us? Because they know that to be a part of the network, to be a part of this summit, to be a part of what we're doing today is a game changer. And that's really what's exciting. I know most of you personally in this room, and I thank you for that relationship, and I'm very honored to have a strong personal relationship with all of you. And as most of you know, I've spent my entire career, my background has been in building or working with multi-billion-dollar, world-class sporting properties, the biggest properties in the world. My background as being Canadian, born in Canada, with an Asian roots, has undoubtedly helped me in my business endeavors here in Asia. But a big part of that was also my background in martial arts. And I was born in Canada, but I was raised in Africa. And my father, he built a boxing ring in our backyard. That pretty well guaranteed I was the coolest guy on the block. Because everybody wants to come when you have a boxing ring, and everyone wants to try out the Bruce Lee technique or whatever it might be. So that was my childhood. That's what I grew up with martial arts and sparring every day with my dad. And a couple of days ago, I was reading Bubbles Aguilar. Bubbles was the co-founder for URCC in the Philippines. And I was reading her blog, and she was writing about her two boys, how they were stick fighting. Now, in any normal house, when a mom sees her two boys with sticks, they say, "Put those sticks down. What are you going to do? You're going to poke your eye out? What the hell?" And they panic. Bubbles is writing proudly about how she takes her kids, corrects their technique, and then says, "You know what? This is what you guys have to do." And it reminded me of my childhood growing up, and there was a pair of nunchucks in every bedroom. My father used to come home, and his gift to me was ninja stars that he had made at his office. By the time I was 10 years old, I had a collection of over 100 butterfly knives, a huge collection. I was 10 years old. And I remember this one time, I was sitting in the living room. I was practicing a new butterfly technique where you open up the knife by throwing it in the air. It opens in the air, and you catch it, right? And, of course, there are times when you throw it up and it's wrong, so you let it drop down to the floor. My mother walks into the room while I'm sitting in the living room, and she sees her 10-year-old boy throwing a knife in the air and catching it and dropping it on the floor. And she looks at me and she goes, "Hey, if you ruin the carpet, you are in big trouble." The context of our household and the influence of martial arts, I know all of you guys have a dozen stories like that. And it's part of what brings this community together and what brings us so strong. When I turned 18, I wanted a big change in my life of discipline. And I joined the military. I was in the Navy for 4 years, and at the same time, I went to university. And that was some of the greatest experiences of my life, some of the strongest building blocks of character and leadership, and learning how to follow as well. Those three things, martial arts in my life, being a part of world-class billion-dollar sporting properties and the military experience really formed the three pillars of the foundation of what I did to launch ONE FC and brought us here where we are today, and the principles of really of the network and the summit. I forgot about this. I got some slides. That's my welcome. I got three things I really want to talk to you about today. 90%, winning, and together. The momentum right now for MMA in Asia, for ONE FC, for the network, is unbelievable. Unbelievable. You know, I spend 60 to 70% of my time on the road preaching mixed martial arts. I'm knocking on the door of every government person that will listen to me, every ministry, every tourism body, every media, every new gym, every new partner, new sponsor, anybody that will talk and listen to me. I have been a keynote speaker at every major sport event conference in Asia in the last 12 months. And I can tell you one thing. Everybody is talking about MMA, and everybody's talking about ONE FC. The buzz about it and the buzz of what we're doing right now, the growth is unbelievable. Not just in the sporting community, not just in the MMA community, but from the mass media, from everybody is looking at what we're doing. It's why we have standing room only here today. It's why everybody's paying attention to us. It is an unbelievably exciting time right now. You know, they've seen, I go to these conferences and I talk to other industry leaders, and they've seen the front page stories. They've seen the features in business magazines. They've seen the 10-page spreads in magazines of CNN coverage, or coverage on Reuters, and they know the ONE FC has a 90% market share. That excites them. It excites them about the growth of what we're doing and about the growth of the sport. In April this year, our last event, we partnered with Disney for the launch of the biggest Hollywood blockbuster movie of the year, Iron Man 3. ONE FC and Iron Man 3 partnered together to work together to launch. That's how quickly, that's how big our sport is getting, and how far the reach is. And I can tell you right now, our partnership with Disney that we had there is the tip of the iceberg. We've got a huge deal with Disney that's in the pipeline that I'll be very excited to talk about down the road. We have a TV deal with Fox and Star Sports that puts us live across Asia, 28 countries, reaching unprecedented new viewers. We have public television, free-to-air broadcast in every country that we're going to. I can tell you we have been one of the top-rated shows of those channels every time that we have aired. We have a global live broadcast and a delayed broadcast globally, which reaches a global audience. That will be a potential viewership this year of 1 billion viewers per event. 1 billion viewers per event is what we're reaching with our sport. It's unbelievable. You know, that alone is exciting. But I'm also very lucky in that our board, ONE FC is backed by a group of 7 investors. All of them multi-millionaires, 2 of them billionaires, who have an unbelievable depth of business experience for me to tap into. And I can tell you they have a Rolodex that is unmatchable. And all of that combined, everything that we're doing, makes great opportunities for all of us. It means ONE FC grows, it makes the sport grows, it means opportunities for everybody here. Now, as fellow leaders in this room, as entrepreneurs, I know you get what I'm talking about, because as a leader, you've got this sixth sense that you develop. You know, when you can see something is hitting an inflection point, when something is getting critical mass, when you feel the rocket ship is taking off, it's why you're leaders, it's why you're here today, because you intuitively see things that other people do not see and recognize where are the opportunities and what you have to do to leverage that. That's what we're doing here today. It's why I'm excited about the summit, and I really want to thank you all for being here and recognizing the momentum that ONE FC is experiencing right now in the market. I want to talk about how you will win, how we will win, what this opportunity means. Because from day one, before all of this, before we had these signs, before we had these lights, before we had Steve Dawson, when I was talking, I said my goal, my focus is to build the MMA community, to build this industry together, to work together, to take the best practices from the West, the best practices from the East and create and use this distinctly Asian approach to our business. It meant that we focus on long-term relationships. It means that we focus on a relationship built on integrity, trust, long-term goals, and above all, loyalty to each other to achieve a common goal. That's what I had said from the very beginning. And that requires collaboration, efforts, strong relationships, and doing everything that we're going to be doing over the next couple of days. I didn't hoard my relationships. I didn't build relationships with government partners and sponsors and broadcasters and hoard them and keep them all to myself. I didn't meet the CEO and form a partnership with the coolest CEO in telco that I know and not introduce him and hide him. I invited him here so that everybody could meet him. Our media contacts and the media relationships that we developed brought them here to share your expertise, to share their expertise with you, so you can learn from them and understand how to leverage those relationships. I fostered those relationships, and then I put my money where my mouth is. I spent, and I hosted this summit, created the network, created this event, hosted this for you guys, so that we can work together on it, so that we can win, so that together we can exponentially win and exponentially grow this sport. That is what this is about today. That is what we're doing. You know, for those of you that are new, this is your first time to join us this year, it might seem like your success was overnight, that it happened quickly. I mean, it has to a degree happened quickly. But all of you know here that hundreds of hours of work behind the scenes that nobody even notices that it took to get a sport to even where it is today. And I want to thank you for all that commitment. I want to thank you for recognizing that we're at the beginning of this journey together. You know, the difference between other established events, EPL, cricket, tennis, football, all these other world-class events, is they have a long history of relationships of media, television, broadcasters, fans, grassroots, all this kind of stuff that supports them and builds them. That's the advantage that they have. They also have the disadvantage of this baggage that they carry, of politics, of egos, of controversies, of 100 different governing bodies and rule sets and all that kind of stuff. We don't have that baggage here in Asia. We don't have that baggage with MMA in Asia and what we're creating. We have the opportunity here, today, just like what we're doing today, to create something completely new that nobody has ever seen. Taking this distinctly Asian approach of doing business and flipping the model on its ass and showing people really how people work together for the love of the sport, for the love of martial arts, for opportunities for everything that we do to go together. A year ago, if I stood up here and I told you that 1FC was going to sell out 2 stadiums in Malaysia, that there was going to be, we were going to have a presenting partner with one of the biggest telcos in Malaysia, and there was going to be a series of 12 amateur events attracting thousands of new fans, hundreds of new amateur MMA fighters, and on top of that, a sponsor that was putting money directly into athletes' pockets by sponsoring them to be ambassadors. If I were to tell you all of that a year ago, none of you would have believed me. That's crazy. How could that be? A year after, look where we are now. All of that has happened in Malaysia. And that happened because we won together with the summit last year and the network. Last year, Matt Hume outlined a framework based on his experience, you know, of creating amateur circuits and series of developing sports. Because he's done this before. He's seen the storyline play out. He's been to this movie. And he outlined that framework for us last year in the summit about what it takes. Malaysia took that model with us and they ran. And that's a fantastic model that Jason is going to talk about later and that we're going to build on. It's a fantastic stride to take in a year. And that's exciting. I wish we were building faster. I wish we were building quicker. I wish there was more fight opportunities for fighters. I wish there was more things that we were doing in a shorter amount of time. I want to take our goal, triple it, and make that our target. That's what I think. I take the goal, triple it, make that our target. That's what I think for all of us in this network. And that's where I really believe that we're heading right now, kind of momentum and the direction that we're going in. And when we win together, when we win with the network, when we win and working together for Summit, it means more MMA fans. It means more membership for your gyms. It means more media coverage, more sponsorship, more opportunities, more people covering us, and more butts to seats at our events. And that's what the winning is about. Together, my third thing I want to talk about. When I was 18 and a lot more arrogant than I am now, and a little bit more fit, and I remember my first day in boot camp, in Navy boot camp. I'll never forget it. The first words, 4 a.m. Master Warrant Officer comes in. The bunk beds. Wake up, virgin girls! That's the kind of talk that you only get away with in the military, you know. Wakes us up, 4 o'clock, get up there, stumbling and change, and we go out for a run. 10K run, the morning run. First day of boot camp. Running with my platoon, and I get to the front of the platoon, and 4 other guys there, we kind of look at each other like, this pace is too slow. Just kick it up a notch. Let's go. Right? Hell yeah. You know, I'm going to show them what it's about. Take off. Me and these 4 guys, just let them running. Leave our platoon behind. Take off. We get to the end of the 10K run, see our officers there. I'm thinking in my head, as we're running away, I'm like, damn, my first day, I'm probably going to get a medal, or like a promotion, or something. Somebody's got to recognize this talent that we're running in first, you know, leaving the platoon behind. And I get there, cross the finish line, our officers grab us, take us by the neck, boom, throw us down, face down into the mud. Face down, chewing dirt. The back is on us, and they're using the kind of explicit swears that are only permitted in the military. And that lesson, my first day in boot camp, you know, the lessons of that are self-evident now, as I'm a little bit older, about to reach greater success of teamwork. You sometimes need to put aside your own skills, your own pride, your own ego, your own agenda, to reach something that is greater, to be able to achieve a legacy that is greater that you cannot achieve on your own. That was ingrained with me from the very beginning. And that's the foundation that I took to build as a principle of the network and the summit. Everyone in this room here is a leader. I know that. I recognize it. I know you all are businessmen, entrepreneurs, gym owners. You have jobs, you have careers, you have national elections, you have families. You have 101 reasons not to be here today, and legitimate reasons. But you're here. We're here together. We're here together to make a change in what we're doing. And, you know, I should take a second here and actually give props, give some thanks to our summit team and the entire summit department for putting this event together. They had the very difficult task of politely turning away more people than we accepted to the summit. We rejected more people than we accepted to come here to the summit today. I had grossly underestimated the kind of global media attention and how many people were paying attention to what we were doing. Grossly underestimated how many people were interested in being a part of what we were doing. Not all of them were invited to be here. Simple reason why? Because they're not the best. They're not the best yet. They don't deserve to be here with us in what we're doing. One day, I hope we can welcome them, and I hope we can triple this in size. But today they're not. They're not part of this leadership group here that is in here, and except for maybe they're standing with the guys in the back. You guys can leave. You didn't come in here to get your seats. You want to go. But this is an ambitious agenda. We have brought together some people that have an unbelievable knowledge in media to share with you how you can get on the front page. We have sponsors here who love MMA, who are driving this, who want to support you, your gym, your fighters. They're here, and they want to listen to you. They want to talk to you. We have industry leaders, icons in mixed martial arts that have got an unbelievable depth of experience, personal experience to share with you about what life is like. And, you know, as I said earlier, I wish we were doing more. I wish we could move faster and quicker. And we're doing the best that we can. And today is the start of that. And working together is the key with that. The network is our strength. Our exclusivity is our power. And the summit and working together is our success. You take a look at everybody in this room. Just look around. Every single person here is leaders in our industry. Unfortunately, if something happened here, the MMA in Asia would go rapidly down because we're all in here. But if you're a significant player, if you're of any significance in MMA in Asia, you are here today with us. You are here, a part of this. The momentum for our sport, insane, unbelievable. We're talking mainstream coverage in media, 90% market share. Everybody's talking about us. Everyone's talking about the summit. It's exciting. You guys can see it. We can feel it. We are experiencing a TV reach. It's unprecedented for MMA in Asia. 1 billion viewers worldwide. It blows my mind still, and when I think about it, you know. And really, where we are right now is we're at the beginning of what you see is a duopoly in this industry. A duopoly that's played out consistently in many other industries. Whether it's Samsung versus Apple, or Kia versus Ford, this East versus West. You've got the biggest event in the West, UFC, and the biggest event in the East, ONE FC. And this duopoly means a rising tide for everybody and for this entire community to grow together. We're working together in a way that other sports don't understand. And that's why this summit is confusing to a lot of people. You know, they're like, what? Why are all these people getting together? You know, because they don't do it anywhere else. This does not happen anywhere else. What we're doing is creating something first, something unique, and something that's at the beginning of where we're going. You might remember last year, Chaki Sipitam had in his speech, he made a great speech, and he used an analogy about a creature that was lived the majority of his life under a coconut husk. And he thought that sky, the coconut husk, was his world. And one day somebody came and removed that coconut husk. And suddenly he saw the skies, the earth, the beauty, the mountains, the sun, the clouds, and all that there was. That's what the summit is. We didn't just remove this coconut husk, we kicked the hell out of it, and it's gone. And we are skyrocketing. And let me tell you guys, we are just getting started. Salamat. Thank you very much. Enjoy the summit. Have a great day.